In the annals of history, few events demonstrate the catastrophic impact of trade on a nation as dramatically as the opium trade did on China during the 19th century. This period saw the convergence of empires, economies, and egos, ultimately leading to the downfall of China's illustrious Qing Dynasty, often referred to as one of history's greatest empires. Today, we delve into the story of how this potent substance, opium, served as the catalyst for seismic shifts in power and prestige in a saga of greed, conflict, and cultural exploitation. In the early 19th century, the Qing Dynasty stood as a formidable power in Asia. With its rich history, cultural sophistication, and dominance over vast territories, China was an empire that inspired awe and envy. Yet beneath this grandeur lay an intricate web of economic dependencies and pressures. European powers, particularly Britain, found themselves in desperate need to balance trade deficits caused by their growing demand for Chinese tea, silk, and porcelain. However, the Chinese market had little interest in Western goods, leading to an unfavorable trade imbalance for the British. Enter opium, a narcotic derived from the poppy plant, which would quickly become a grim currency in this equation. The British East India Company, exploiting its control over opium production in India, began illicitly smuggling this addictive substance into China. The results were devastating. By the mid-19th century, opium had firmly rooted itself within Chinese society, causing widespread addiction and draining economic resources. The silver that once flowed into China in exchange for tea was now hemorrhaging out of the country, destabilizing its economy. Under the leadership of the Qing Emperor Daoguang, efforts were made to curb the opium crisis. The emperor commissioned Lin Zexu, a high-ranking official, to eradicate the opium trade and rid China of its crippling addiction. Lin Zexu's measures were bold and uncompromising. He confiscated and destroyed massive stores of opium, a direct affront to British traders. This confrontation sparked the First Opium War in 1839, a war that would not only expose the weaknesses of the Qing military, but also mark the beginning of a series of humiliations for China. Defeated by British forces, the Qing Dynasty was coerced into signing the Treaty of Nanking in 1842. This treaty marked the first of the infamous unequal treaties that ceded Hong Kong to Britain and opened several Chinese ports to foreign merchants. The repercussions were profound. China's sovereignty was eroded, its economy further weakened, and its people humiliated. The opium trade continued to flourish, despite these efforts, with opium addiction reaching epidemic proportions. The impact of the opium trade exacerbated internal strife within China. The Taiping Rebellion, a massive civil war from 1850 to 1864, was fueled in part by the socio-economic turmoil wrought by opium. This internal conflict claimed millions of lives, further weakening the Qing Dynasty and setting the stage for more foreign intervention. China found itself teetering on the edge of collapse, its strength sapped by addiction, warfare, and colonial encroachment. By the late 19th century and early 20th century, China faced continued pressures from various imperialist powers. The Second Opium War and subsequent treaties further peeled away its autonomy. The insidious grip of opium and foreign control foreshadowed the eventual fall of the Qing Dynasty in 1912, symbolizing the end of imperial rule in China and the beginning of a tumultuous modern era. In conclusion, the opium trade and the events it precipitated serve as a stark reminder of how economic exploitation and substance addiction can unravel even the greatest of empires. The Qing Dynasty's encounter with opium was not merely a clash of armies or economies, it was a collision of fundamentally different worldviews, a tragic lesson in the perils of trade imbalances and unchecked appetites for profit. As we reflect on this chapter of history, we are reminded of the importance of ethical economic policies and the need to understand the profound effects of our global interconnectedness. Through the story of opium and China's fallen empire, we gain valuable insights into the complexities of power, greed, and resilience in the human experience.